Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. The NHL slate on November 19, 2025, promises intensity, high stakes, and matchups where every shift counts. 4 games stand out, each carrying its own narrative, its own momentum swings, and its own key players who could tilt the balance. Tonight, we dive deep into these contests, exploring team strengths, weaknesses, player form, and tactical nuances to give a full picture of what to expect and where the edges lie. Edmonton Oilers hit the ice in Washington for a clash that feels bigger than just two teams competing. It's a battle of identity and tempo. Edmonton comes in 5th in the Pacific with 22 points, teetering between explosive highs and frustrating lapses, trying to find a rhythm that has eluded them in mid-November. The Oilers' power lies at the very top, with Connor McDavid generating 30 points in 21 games and Leon Draisaitl following closely with 24 points and 13 goals. Their dynamic pairing can change games in a heartbeat, but the supporting cast has been inconsistent, leaving gaps that even the reliable Evan Bouchard can't always plug on the blue line. Washington, meanwhile, approaches the night with a different blueprint. They sit 5th in the Metropolitan with 20 points, building momentum on disciplined defense and emerging goalkeeping stability. Tom Wilson drives physicality with 9 goals and 18 points, while Dylan Strome quietly orchestrates play with 16 points and a +11 rating. The duo of John Carlson and Jacob Chychrun forms a balanced defensive anchor, capable of shutting down top lines and sustaining pressure in both zones. The numbers tell a compelling story. Edmonton's average of 3.00 goals per game is undermined by a 3.48 goals against average, highlighting defensive lapses that often leave Stuart Skinner overexposed, despite his 2.86 GAA and .89 save percentage. Washington counters with a more disciplined structure, scoring slightly less at 2.79 per game but allowing just 2.47. Backed by Logan Thompson's 1.85 GAA and .925 save percentage and the steady presence of Charlie Lindgren. The Oilers' fast-paced, high-risk approach is perfect for McDavid and Draisaitl to strike, but Washington's home ice, structural discipline, and goalkeeping depth make them the favorites in this matchup. Special teams will play a decisive role. Edmonton's power play is potent with 9 goals and 16 assists. Yet Washington's penalty kill and physical approach can neutralize that advantage. As the night unfolds, Edmonton will generate chances, but Washington's steadier, more cohesive system is likely to absorb pressure and respond with precision, resulting in a tight, gritty victory for the Capitals. Expect the game to tip toward offense, and with both sides capable of finding the net, the total should go over 5.5 goals. Turning north, Buffalo hosts the Calgary Flames, a contest marked by contrasting trajectories. Calgary, near the bottom of the Pacific at 13 points, is desperate to halt a season that has leaned too heavily on struggle and not enough on finishing plays. Buffalo, slightly steadier at 18 points in the Atlantic, is seeking momentum and looking to prove that their improving offense is more than a passing phase. Calgary's Nam Kadri leads the team with 11 points, but the offense overall is sputtering at 2.10 goals per game. Blake Coleman adds 7 goals on 48 shots, showing effort but highlighting the team's reliance on volume over efficiency. Buffalo, in contrast, boasts T.J. Thompson with 17 points and Alex Tuch with 16, supported by Rasmus Dahlin's 12 assists and crisp transition game. Buffalo averages 2.89 goals per game, and though their defense allows 3.42, their shot pressure and cohesive forecheck often compensate. Special teams further tilt the scales, with Calgary converting just 11.9% on the power play and Buffalo at a strong 17.2%, coupled with an 89.7% penalty kill. Goalies will play a pivotal role, and while Dustin Wolf has been resilient for Calgary, his 3.01 GAA and .896 save percentage show the strain of constant high-danger opportunities. Buffalo's Alex Leon is steadier at .907, providing a calm, reliable presence behind a more disciplined defensive structure. This game favors Buffalo, whose pace, shot volume, and superior special teams can break the Flames' resistance. Expect Buffalo to pull away in the later stages and the game to surpass 5.5 total goals. Next, Carolina travels to Minnesota in a showdown that blends star power with structured excellence. Carolina sits tied for second in the Metropolitan with 27 points, riding a balanced attack that spreads scoring threats across lines and positions. Sebastian Aho drives the offense with 18 points, Seth Jarvis adds finishing punch with 10 goals, and the depth extends to Taylor Hall, Jackson Blake, and a blue line led by the +15 Alexander Notchin. Minnesota, meanwhile, relies heavily on its stars, led by Kirill Kaprizov with 23 points and Matt Boldy with 21. Their secondary lines have struggled to consistently produce, and defensive inconsistencies make them vulnerable against disciplined systems. Carolina allows just 2.84 goals per game and operates with a sharp 13% power play and 80.6% penalty kill. Minnesota sits at 3.05 goals allowed and 71.7% on the kill, creating a structural disadvantage. Goaltending depth favors Carolina as well, with Frederik Andersen's veteran calm supported by Brandon Bussi and Pota Kochkov, while Minnesota alternates between Philip Gustafsson and Jesper Wallstedt, the latter providing glimpses of poise but still less battle-tested. Carolina's relentless forecheck, puck movement, and transition game are likely to dictate the flow, forcing Minnesota into a reactive style and limiting their high-impact scoring opportunities. The Hurricanes' depth and composure make them the natural pick to win, while the offensive talent on both sides makes the total over 5.5 goals a solid expectation. Finally, Boston and Anaheim square off in a rematch that pits structural precision against youthful dynamism. Boston enters at 12-9, second in the Atlantic, relying on a top six led by David Pastrnak with 26 points and emerging finisher Morgan Geekie. The Bruins generate 3.24 goals per game, with a reliable defense allowing 3.29. Anaheim, atop the Pacific at the 1st of June 12, brings a younger, faster approach, led by Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier, both with 26 points. Troy Terry and Chris Kreider add finishing depth, and Jacob Trouba anchors a blue line capable of physical disruption. In net, Boston's Jeremy Swayman is a stable, technically sound presence, while Lucas Dostal provides athleticism and momentum-changing potential for the Ducks. The clash becomes a battle of style, Boston's half-ice control and structured entries against Anaheim's speed-first approach and open-ice opportunism. Special teams may decide the night, as Boston's 82.5% penalty kill faces Anaheim's 20.9% power play. With Boston's injuries still affecting depth and Anaheim riding high on recent form, expect the Ducks to leverage speed and timing to capture the win in a high-paced, closely contested affair. Every one of these matchups carries storylines beyond wins and losses. Star players like McDavid, Draisaitl, Kaprizov, Thompson, and Pastrnak are not just scoring, they are shaping how their teams operate on a nightly basis. Goalies will influence momentum swings, special teams will swing tactical battles, and subtle mismatches could define the final outcomes. The margins are thin, but a deeper understanding of pace, structure, and matchups provides clarity in predicting these contests. Tonight, Washington, Buffalo, Carolina, and Anaheim are poised to take victories, with total goals in each game leaning toward the over 5.5 threshold. Across these four contests, expect skill, speed, and tactical nuance to dominate the narrative, producing games where individual brilliance meets team strategy in a high-stakes showcase. If you want to stay ahead in planning your NHL strategies and catch every shift that matters, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an in-depth breakdown. With insights delivered daily, you'll have all the angles you need to stay informed and ready for the ice. The story tonight is written by the players, shaped by the teams, and watched by those ready to understand every nuance. Don't just watch the game. See the strategy, understand the context, and experience the NHL like never before.